All right, we are live. Hey, boys and girls, I think I'm going to forego my intros for the sake of time because you already know you're at Centerline Systems. You're here. You either stumbled upon it accidentally or you're here intentionally. So, hey, welcome to Centerline Systems. You found the channel. You found the right place to be. We already got a couple guys commenting. Tonight's Loadout Live is going to be fun. We're going to talk about our everyday organizer. I'll tell a little bit of the story behind it, how it first came about. We'll do a load up. We got special guest again. You know, he's been on before, but he, again, customer, great guy to talk to. And he kind of raised his hand and said, yeah, I'm not scared. I'll come on the live stream. So one of you guys is coming on over to share his loadouts. I think he liked his very first loadout that he did. That's what she said. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have done that. That was a horrible joke. That wasn't even a dad joke. That was just like, come on, man. That wasn't even a good use of that joke. Anyway, so we're going to do the loadout. I'm going to show off a new version of it. We're going to do a little bit of a giveaway, kind of a contest giveaway type of thing. That will be for both everybody who's watching live and everybody who watches it later on demand. And then I think John and I are just going to sit and talk about a handful of other things at the very end that we kind of want to talk about. And then, as always, we'll just see how it goes, right? We'll see how it goes. Hey, so here's my housekeeping, AKA fluff, as it's called. So for Christmas, we had the next business day section in preparation. I'm going to do a separate video. I already mentioned this once. I shot the video. I didn't really like it. Somebody actually thought it was funny that I got toilet paper over here at the workstation. Well, it's because I get weird allergies in the wintertime. So anyway, I wasn't quite happy with that video. So I'm going to do a new video here in the next day or two. I'm going to talk about the bundles that we're going to put together for the leftover, if you want to call it leftovers, not leftover ham and potatoes or any of that, but we got a handful of leftover products from the next business day inventory. And I think I'm just going to bundle them and whoever wants them gets them. I'll do a new video for that. More videos coming up in the future, kind of just fighting our way through the end of the year, beginning of the year, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. And then one last thing. Give me a sec. Yeah. So so for tomorrow on Cialis After Dark, excuse me, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to get all three of these guys. Patrick might not be able to make it. He wasn't scheduled for tomorrow, but his schedule changed, so he might be able to join us. Then our friend George, aka Triple X, and then our friend David, aka DB. All three guys have some type of point of intersection with either the coast bombing or the Benghazi debacle that cost American lives. Well, so did Coast too. I don't want that to sound like it's downplaying either of the events. But we're going to wrap up that conversation on Friday. So that's Cialis After Dark, 1800 Central, Friday, the 10th of January. We'll wrap that up. And then I still got to work on what we're doing for next week and stuff. Like I said, no excuses, just trying to get caught up. All right. So that is my housekeeping. I'm pretty sure that's my housekeeping. Yep. Okay. I'm going to bring on our guest. You've seen him before. The man, the myth, the just toss me legend, the accessorizer. How you doing, John?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hang on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. You sound really good. I'm just laughing. Just as we do it, I think Gene
put the Ric Flair in there.
I think he got Ric Flair. Isn't that Ric Flair? I think he did the Ric Flair. That's awesome, Gene. Woo! And then Gene's snowshoe checking in. Gene saying it's not an allergy. The lizard men have got you. Gene, whatever I've done to upset you, I apologize. Please don't sick the lizard men on me. And then Alpha Omega's here tonight again. Woo! All right. We got a little bit of a crew going. Gonna have a fun episode. Excuse me. Like I said, just kind of still dealing with that kind of crap. But we're going to talk about the everyday organizer. John's here. He's going to show a little bit about how he loads it out. I'm going to tell a quick story before we start. If you go back and look at any of the old videos, I'm sure I've probably told the story once or twice before. The Everyday Organizer is a product I made based off of something I made for myself, my first tour in one of those godforsaken, war zones overseas. I had a need. I was traveling on other people's rotary air And oftentimes, zero dark 30, all that kind of bullshit. And if it wasn't something for me, mission specific, even though I had my own comms and all that, I wasn't on their comms. So you got to communicate with the crew chief, right? Like I'm trying to ask, you pick me up here and I'm trying to go to this other location. How many stops do we have in between? How many turns? So, it's really hard to communicate if you've never been in the back of a helicopter before, especially in John. And some of the birds I'm talking about were your guys' birds over on the Marine Corps side. Talk about some kept together with chewing gum and duct tape and some loud ass freaking birds.
Yeah,
but
if they stopped leaking, it was bad.
Yeah, right. Then you were in trouble. Yeah, hydraulic fluid wasn't spewing everywhere like it was a free inboard service. Then it was something was wrong. So on that note, so anyway, so I just back in the day, whiteboard material, and maybe you can still get it. I've actually looked for it. I can't find it. And I've stopped looking. Maybe it's out there and I just need to look harder. But you could get flexible whiteboard material. And so and look, and for the job I was doing, my career at that time, as an operations officer for the agency, there's times in which I want to be able to, like, take John, for example, and I want to be able to draw a diagram or brief him. And then I want to be able to erase it so there's no evidence. And then I don't have to have a big notebook with all these notes in it and somebody kills me or captures me or whatever. There's all this information. So I had this big piece of flexible whiteboard material, and I ended up taking a different type of tactical notebook, cut it apart, made some modifications, and I had this cool thing so I could be on the bird. No matter if it was my bird, I could just talk on the intercom, right? Our comms. I'd be on somebody else's bird, just maybe getting a ride down to the main, the main area or something like that. And instead of trying to shout it and do arm and hand signals, I would just write, question mark turns, and then, the location, like wherever I was going, the main base, right? And then the guy would just be able to give me, whatever, hand and arm signals. And it was very easy. And I liked it because it's whiteboard material. And I'm sure some of you guys who were senior enlisted in the Army, and especially if you're in combat arms, senior enlisted or junior officers, you had your own kind of command board like this with loom tape on it and laminate so you could write things and put your map or your grid graphic, your GRG, grid reference graphic, or your grid overlay, through there and do all that kind of stuff. So it was really kind of based on a lot of that military type of stuff, but it was really cool. And I could put it in my hip pocket and just whip it out right on. That's what she said. Whip it out right on it, show it to the crew chief. He'd tell me, and then I wouldn't, and I could go back to sleep for one or two more landings, depending on where I was trying to go. So that's the genesis of the Everyday Organizer. When I came back to the States and years later, and I start Centerline Systems, I'm discussing it with George from Puco Cutlery and Jason from Lester River Bushcraft. And, as I'm describing my original design, and we might go back to the original design at some day. Stay tuned. We'll just see what you guys think. I made the Everyday Organizer because and I'm not poo-pooing them. I'm not giving them a hard time, but they were like, hey, look, that's very military. That's very tactical. That's just not going to really resonate and sell well with the outdoor market. And, and then I don't know whether that was the right idea or the wrong idea, but then I went to our Everyday Organizer, and that's what you got here. Now, this one's in multicam tropic. You got a flap protector, and I'm just doing this as we'll get to John. So this is a little flap protector that snaps and holds everything in place. You want to get to this main pocket, you just undo that and open it up. You want to get to the other pocket, same thing. You can take this off. Your pens, your chem lights, all of that can, goes into these little areas here. Then you've got a big main pocket, and we're going to do the loadout, so we'll talk about that. A big rear pocket, then it folds open, and then this is a really high speed. I think it's 20 for thickness. For vinyl, and it's got a really good crack rating. I think it's 30 below, because plastics, when they get cold, they become brittle and they can break, right? And they can snap or crack. So you can see the reflection. And then this is the area where you put down, and again, when we do the loadout, we'll show you more, but that's really the product, and that's how it came about. This isn't quite my original design, but the concept is there because, again, I did take a different notebook from a different company, cut it all apart, sewed it together differently, and then so it could suit my needs. And this is close, but this is our everyday organizer. Oh, and then there's some elastic on the spine. So again, as we do the loadout, we'll talk about that stuff. But that's the origin story, if you will, of the everyday organizer. And by the way, if you don't see a color, and I'm going to give a plug, it's my channel. I can plug my company. John, can I plug my company on my channel?
Yes, sir.
Got a thumbs up from Gimli. I can plug my channel.
That's the point, isn't it?
Well, it's my channel, right? But that's a really badass logo. You can see our stitching, all that. But if you see a color ever in one of these videos or on any other photos, whether it's on the website or on Instagram, I guess I got to get back into doing Instagram. Hey, maybe with the cyborg Zuckerberg, those guys getting scared and getting rid of the fact checkers. Maybe it'll be time to get back on Facebook. Facebook kicked me off a long time ago. Well, they didn't kick me off. They banned me from advertising because they said I violated their terms of service, kind of claiming I sold guns and ammo. And I'm like, no, I sell camouflage stuff. That's all it is. And they would never, and I appealed it twice and they wouldn't rescind it. They just said, nope, you're wrong. And I'm like, show me where I sell anything you guys say I shouldn't sell. And they wouldn't do it. They just said, yeah, denied. So I said, well, why would I be over here? If I can't advertise on your platform and use your platform, go fuck yourself, as Elon Musk would say. But with the cyborg changing things now, John, maybe I should consider getting back on Facebook. What do you think?
I would. It can't hurt anything. Or you can always get on Truth too. I'm not a big social media guy. I mean, I get on Facebook maybe once every couple of weeks and post pictures of the kids and the adventures we're doing, but that's it. My wife, she's addicted to it. She stares at that damn thing.
Well, maybe get your wife to start posting some more of those awesome pictures. Hey, by the way, John just did post. I'm going to give a plug, 2 quick plugs, kind of housekeeping. The CLS Gear chat over on Telegram. Again, it's behind the scenes stuff you're never going to see on any of the main social media. And John actually, and we'll get to this near the end because we really want to, both of us want to talk about it, but he went out hunting last weekend with just his hoodie, and it's 8 degrees, and he shared some really cool pictures of his belt loadout and all that kind of stuff. So, if you get on Telegram, get an account, reach out to me, shoot me a message or whatever, and then I'll give you the link and then come on over and then start sharing, again, enjoy the behind the scenes inside baseball or start sharing your behind the scenes with everybody else. And then on that note, I just want to kind of say, I said this before, and I already kind of screwed up. I apologize, John. I'm kind of taking up a lot of time.
You're fine.
But hey, boys and girls, I said this, and I'm trying to get everybody to, in the live stream anyway, just like, you don't have to be, active over there if you don't want to. You don't have to be chatting with each other. I mean, you do you. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'm going to read them if they're over there, and I like how you guys interact with each other. But for me personally, this has taken a long time to overcome my, I can't believe you're on social media. This is not what intelligence officers do, right? My old life. So, it helps me when I see, I love the comments. It helps keep me kind of calm. I don't get as anxious or nervous, talking from the camera. You know the deal. If you've watched any, I have no script whatsoever. This is completely out of here or out of the 4th point of contact. So, if you want to chime in and just say, hey, coming in from, wherever, or shout out from wherever you live, please do. That just, and I think that also gives everybody a better sense of who's who, the community over on Telegram or the community here on the live streams, which I think is awesome. God bless each and every one of you who comes over and talks and leaves chats. But, just then it paints a little bit of a picture. Oh, that person's coming at it from this type of perspective or that type. So I kind of like it. But now I've rambled. But before I bring John on, let me just do what we got here. Alpha Omega. Well, I guess somebody else saw. Okay, yeah, I was over on Black Scout Survival the other night. Thanks, Alpha Omega. Glad to hear I didn't do such a horrible job. Ground Fog checking in with a big clap. Thank you, sir. Gene, do your first Edo and a legacy camo would be awesome. Well, Gene, the Edo, we've been doing this for years, but the new one, just stay tuned, sir. Just stay tuned. Right, we'll get to that, Gene. Yeah, legacy. But you're right about the legacy.
Thanks,
Awesome
Gene.
photos on Telegram, John. Giving you a shout out for the hunting that gear. Hey, John, you want to kind of what we were just saying? You're thinking maybe a month, 2 months, we'll have you back on and we'll do a loadout on that stuff. Is that what you're kind of thinking?
I'm thinking like mid-March to mid-April, somewhere in between there. We got a trip to the Great Smoky Mountains, and then we have a survival class down with Corporal's Corner and Jake Trent. I think April 11th. So somewhere in between there, we'll do a loadout live on the Sherpa belt and how I got that thing loaded out. I'm still playing with it too. But I think I already got it dialed in.
Hey, and I'm here to tell you, one of the things I really did like was I like how you have that scabbard rigged up and a scout draw in the rear.
Yeah.
Wait, let's not get into it now. Let's save that for the loadout, but I definitely want to talk.
We'll be here for over an hour, Mark.
Well, we're already going to probably be here for an over hour. And then we got Henner Ben checking in northern Minnesota. See, that's now Henner Ben trying to like lead from the front, telling everybody where she's from. All right. Hey, John, do you want to start off or do you want me to kind of start off and just show everybody like this is probably the original or second to original one we ever made. And I made it. This has been mine for freaking years. I use it
it's
all
your
the time.
show, brother.
What's that?
I said, it's your show, brother. It's your planet. I'm just living on it, man. You do you. I follow your lead.
It's my world. You're just driving in it.
I'm just living in it.
You're just living in it or driving it. Okay. Well, I tell you what, why don't you start off with a little bit?
Okay.
And then we'll just kind of jump back and forth. How about we do that?
Well, real quick, I got to make fun of you because when you were talking about guys chiming in, letting them know where you are. When you were on with Blake, I put OH.IO, and you're like, yeah, I think he said he's from Iowa. So you're not from Ohio. So let me explain it. When people from Ohio, they go OH, and then other people go IO. It's an Ohio State thing. So I apologize you didn't get that.
No, I didn't get that. I mean, OH is the abbreviation for Ohio. What's Iowa again? Isn't that IO or IA? Yeah, it's either IO or IA.
Yeah, it might be IA. Anyway.
Yeah, Indiana is IN. But yeah, so like you just threw me off. I was like, I didn't know what the hell.
I'm like, yeah, he's never been to Ohio for sure.
Oh, I've been to Ohio before. I actually watched baseball in Ohio, but I never heard that.
Anyway, Edo. Yeah. So I got this Edo.
Hey, do you mind if I bring you up full screen? Will that freak you out if you don't?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Hey, and before you start, I just Gene just gave you some gruff. Too many crayons, John. Too many crayons.
Only the green ones.
Somebody remembers.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to bring you full screen so people can see what you got for us, brother.
All right, so if you guys remember a few months back, I did a loadout with the rucksack. I got this to go into the ruck. This is my nav kit, okay? And then kind of like a possibles pouch. I put, mostly it's land nav, but I like to have redundancies when it comes to fire. So in the rucksack up there, there's multiple redundancies for fire, and some of them are in here, okay? So opening it up, I got a 1 and 24,000. Yeah.
John, just real quickly, give me a sec. Hey, if it's possible, can you tilt your camera just down just a little?
I do have.
No, that might be too much. Now face it back towards you. Yeah, prop it up just a little because that'll be a little bit shiny. There we go. Yeah, try that now. Okay, there you go.
All right, so this is a waterproof map in here. This is it's the most detailed map you can get. I think it's 1 in 24,000 or something like that. But just to give you an idea of how big of a map that can go into this thing, let me unfold this thing. So this is a waterproof topographical map of my township. And I mean, it's not even going to show up how big this is on camera. That thing was just in the EDO. Can you guys see how big that is, Mark? It's gigantic.
Yeah, if you want to, because you don't need to have it on the table, just again, camera up.
Let me that's how big that map that was in there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm 5'6", so it's like 4x2 map. So that's it. This, like I said, this is used as a nav kit, and I like to be able to mark on that plastic screen. Behind that map kit, I had 2 map tools, protractor, and a grid square tool. I have a couple alcohol wipes. Okay, so that's in that main pouch.
Hey, put those alcohol wipes off to the side. We're going to come back to that. That's a key point I want to focus on. So thank you. All right.
Now, I'm not big into alcohol pens or grease pens or anything like that. I like Sharpies. Okay. So I got 4 different color Sharpies. I got a Right in the Ray mechanical pencil here. So there's all your marking tools and map tools.
Okay. Now on that, I did not know. So hang on, give me a sec. We're going to dissect this. Make the camera come up towards you a little bit so people can see you. Yeah, there you go. Hey, so boys and girls, I have no idea. I'm going to be just as equally impressed or disappointed as the rest of you on how John has this loaded out. I had no idea this thing about Sharpies. So as I asked him to pull those alcohol wipes off to the side, that's something I wanted to point out. But John, if you don't mind, when we talk about the alcohol wipes, I want you to talk about Sharpies and why and how you're doing that. We'll get back to that because maintenance and cleaning it, I think, is one of the things I personally want to hit on tonight as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. So let's go. So on on those little elastic straps right there, I have a ferro rod with a tungsten striker. And then since this was going in the ruck, I mean, I know the ruck has that rubberized material that protects the inside of it, but this striker is sharp. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see that. It is taking fingernail off. Okay. So I just made like a little cardboard and duct tape sheath on that so it doesn't cut the inside of the rucksack. Full size 1/2 inch by 6 ferro rod.
Hey, John, one more thing, sir, before you go too far.
Yep.
And I'm going to bring it back if you don't mind doing your camera again. Okay, I know this sounds stupid. I actually have a couple little knives and sharp that I've done the same thing you are. That's just too good of an opportunity to pass up. Can you show people and maybe just talk through how you made that little cardboard sheath for that?
Yeah. So
because that's a great point right there for and this is easily done, folks.
So I took extra Amazon box or whatever, outlined this, doubled the length, cut it with an X-Acto knife, folded it over, and just literally wrapped duct tape around it. So this is also kindling too. I mean,
yep. I was just going to say that makes it also tinder. Yep.
Yep.
And if you needed to, depending on the tape, you could also then use that as an improvised, like it wouldn't be the greatest in the world, but or I was going to say an improvised finger splint too, if you had like,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could strip it, lengthwise to make it skinnier. But yeah, I mean, it took, I don't know, less than 5 minutes to make, just because I didn't want to. I mean, that rucksack that you make is like a work of art. I didn't want to go out of my way to destroy it. So I was trying to, I mean, I know the inside's tough, but like I said, that tungsten scraper is really sharp. Okay.
Yeah. Tough versus sharp edges, sharp edges are going to usually win. But hey, boys and girls, just wanted to kind of say it. This is what I really want to do on these loadouts is to see your guys's, how you're doing it and all the other ways, because oftentimes I'll forget a lot of this stuff. But that's why I just, don't no offense, John, but that's why I just stopped you. I wanted to, because that's just another great little point, and that's another thing that people should think about, and it's very easy to accomplish on your own.
Yep. All right, so you want me to put it back down?
Yep, please.
Right. So, like, you can hold a lot of gear in this Ito, but obviously, like, this isn't a GCC or MCC or anything like that. So, if you guys have never seen one of these, this is a pretty cool little product. It's made in America. It's called a spool tool. It's got a razor blade inside of there. So when you want to cut cordage, first of all, I think like 50 foot of number 36 bank line in here. You can see that. Let's see. So there's a 50 foot underneath this. And
your outer is 550 cord, it looks like.
Yeah. And then since there's a razor blade in here, like let's say you want to cut material.
Yep.
You just take it in here and it cuts right off. You're not doubling a knife. There's 2 screws in here, so you can actually change that razor blade out. And for those that don't know, you can start a fire with 550 cord. This stuff burns really well.
And all the innards are really good for sewing with.
Since I'm a nerd, one of these strands inside is a wax fire starter.
And you got the the modern 550 cord that has that built in,
and then there's also fishing line, like 50-pound test fishing line. So the inner strands, only 5 of them are your typical paracord. One of them is fishing line, and then the other one is like thread. So easy that one came out. So like you don't have to pull this whole thing out to start a fire. You just light that red part and it burns down, and you just shove that under a tinder and it'll catch on fire. Okay. So this fits perfect in there. I wish I had space to like tape a needle in here. So I might add a needle to the kit.
Hang on, but go back to it. You already added a lighter to it.
Yeah. So that's another cool thing right here. So there's a spot to put a mini Bic in there, and there's a recess. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. It's in here so that the button for the lighter cannot get depressed. So you lose your light. Well, first of all, this is a repair kit because you're going to melt your 550 cord, right? But you have a redundancy and fire there. You have tinder here. I already have a ferro rod there. On the other side, I have a KDC. This is like main fire kit when I have time to screw around and take my time. Another mini lighter. If you guys can see that, it's a big lighter. There's a striker in here for the U-code. I think they're Titan. So there's a striker.
Yeah, the Titan matches. Yep.
Matches right there. And then I don't know if you guys.
Oh, wait, hey, before you go any further, have you have you messed around with those matches?
Yes, I like they got the big ones, the Titan HDs. Those are actually in the Sherpa belt, which we'll get to in a couple months. But yeah, these were I've done what they show on TV. I've lit them, put them in a glass of water, pulled them out, and they lit back up. So they do work.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just going to point out. Those things they're definitely worth having, and you should have them in every one piece of your kit.
Yep,
they're good.
So in the back of the KDC, I have a little Right in the Rain notebook. And then I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this company. They're based out of Texas. It's called Grim Workshops. This is called a hot shot card. Now it's going to be hard to see. So there is a miniature fixed blade knife there that comes out. So if you end up losing your knife, you can. I got little small hands. They're like fat pancakes, but they're carny hands. Like they smell like cabbage. You know what I mean? Like my wife or my mother-in-law or my mom had to have an affair with a carny or something like that. So there's a chisel grind on that thing. You can make shavings with it. You can also make feather sticks and all that kind of stuff. There's also, now this is all spring steel, so it's high carbon. There's a striker here if you want to use that. You can also use it as a scraper for their tinder card, which is just ABS. So if you guys have seen people start fires with extra tent stakes and stuff like that, this will burn in the rain. I also have a Fresno lens in here. And I think there's some wax. They also make a wax like kindling card that's this size, but it's a waxed canvas, and you shred it up and, set that on fire. There's also a magnesium rod here, which I'm not a big fan of magnesium rods, but I just think you get all this stuff in a small package. There's a miniature pry bar here that comes out. Okay. There's a saw, which I doubt that you'll ever like sit there.
Yeah, if you had to make it work, you would make it work.
The fact that it fits in that. And then here's another miniature ferro rod. Now, what's really cool about this thing is the back of this has an adhesive. So if you peel this off, you can like stick this to underneath like your steering wheel or something like that. This side is semi-adhesive. It's not sticky enough to get dirty. And it's going to take me some time to put all this stuff back together, which I won't do. But you can put all this stuff back together and it'll go back on there. Okay. Without making the tool sticky, which is kind of cool. Okay. That's it.
Just real quickly, just to give them a shout out. I just pulled them up as you were talking. It's Grim Workshop, like Grim as in, like, ooh, this is looking very good. So Golf Romeo India Mike and then workshop.com. Golf Romeo India Mike workshop.com. I'm not plugging these guys. This is the first I've heard about them.
Yeah.
But look, the cards, and like I see they've got even like a dog tag.
Yep. I
don't know how good those handcuff keys are and stuff. So, there's some of the
It's like county com. You're going to get sucked in and you're going to spend a lot of money. And real quick, like this is my winter hat. This has a spot in the back of the hat to put one of those cards. So I have a fire kit in the back of my wool cap all the time, even when I'm walking around the civilian world. So yeah, check their website out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll pull it up here in a couple seconds here.
Okay.
What else you got in there?
All right. So I got a base plate.
And how did I know you actually had more in there?
I'm the accessories, baby. So excuse me, I'm coming down with something. So I got, base plate compass with my Ranger beads, and then a full size right in the rain. Well, I shouldn't say full size. This is what I like to really take notes on for azimuth, reverse azimuth, pace count, all that kind of stuff. In my chest rig that I hike with in the morning, I actually have written down like what my pace count is when I'm wearing the ruck, what my pace count is when I'm only wearing my MCC, or what my pace count is when I'm only wearing a chest rig with a pistol in it. It's really important you take your pace count based on the gear you're wearing because it can affect it. Okay.
And don't forget, then you should do all that same stuff and then have it for when you're going uphill,
uphill,
level
downhill,
ground, and going downhill.
And then I just average them all out. I'll do all three of them, and then I average them out. So, like I said, not tons of gear, folks, but I mean, I love this thing. The only
bring
thing
the camera back up to you.
So,
okay, hang on. Do you have any more coming out of your clown car?
No, that's it.
No, that's it.
That's it.
Seriously, again, that was a lot. I'm glad we started with you because I mean my loadout is very different and mine looks really stupid next year. So hey, if you were watching, unless you want to possibly win something here in a bit, and you might just fast forward through. That was the loadout for the everyday organizer. Now I'm going to point out one or two other things, but man, seriously, John is like a Shriner. I think maybe your nickname should be the Shriner because you've got like shit coming out of the car. Like, are there still more clowns in there? What?
I'm a carny at heart. Look at these hands, dude. I'm a carny.
That's too fucking funny. Hey, we're gonna get caught up on a handful of comments and then we'll keep going. Gene was just talking about that paracode that you had. You call it a survival cord. And yeah, that is, I think, the proper designator for that newer version. Whereas, paracord is kind of what, I'm used to.
I mean, I'm at heart, I'm a bank line guy. Cause you can literally make like woodsman zip ties out of it. And me and my boys I bribed them this summer. I bought them 100 sandbags and I told them if they would fill the sandbags, we go outside and back in the woods and cut up some down trees. We built a backstop that is probably 8 to 10 foot wide, all down trees. We didn't nail anything. We just staked saplings in the ground and used number 36 bank line with an arbor knot and just stack the wall and then squeeze saplings in. And then we stacked the sandbags behind it. So I bribed them. I said, listen, if you guys do that, it's a lot of hard work. We'll go to Cabela's and I'll buy you all the shooting steel for planking. I didn't realize how much that how expensive that is. We walked out of there. I think I spent like $1,200. I'm like, you guys are freaking spoiled. But then we came home and planked with 22s and I felt like a kid again. I was like, all right, it was worth the money. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was worth it. That was worth it. Hey, did you teach them how to do that arbor knot or did they know it?
Yeah, so they've known it because we went 2 years ago. We went to the Pathfinder school for their survival training. I think the boys were 10 and 11 at the time. And then a couple of their instructors left and started their own school in Southern Ohio. He's called Sean Kelly. He's a huge YouTuber guy. I think he's got like 1 million subs. And another guy's Jake Trent. He's big on Instagram. They started a school in Southern Ohio called Buckeye, or I think Jake did. I don't think Sean did because technically I think he has non-compete or something like that. I don't know that. So, just forget.
Disregard everything Gimli just said.
I don't know legally. But anyway, so we did the Pathfinder school in 22. We did 23, Buckeye Bushcraft in 24. And then we were at a hunting education camp that we go to every year. I got 17 fathers and sons in my little small hometown of Suffield, Ohio, where the Goodyear blimp is. And we are going down for a private class April 11th with Jake Trent. We're going to car camp. I mean, and, drink beer, cook deer steaks and stuff like that. But then we're going to do the classes, land nav courses, food, fire, water, shelter, disinfectant water, and all that kind of stuff. Last year when we did it, it got down to 23 degrees, and we had to survive the night making a browse bed out of a poncho liner as a blanket, and like an emergency blanket with a long fire in front of it. I'm not kidding. It was like 23 degrees. You're under that Mylar blanket. We were stripping clothes off. I got a picture of Ronnie. He's like in a t-shirt and jeans. It's like 100 degrees underneath those things. As soon as you get out of it, you can see your breath. It was crazy, but it was a fun experience. And then I didn't sleep through the night because I let the boys sleep. And, you know, I don't know everybody in the class. And I'm like, I'm going to conk out. And like, you know, I don't know everybody that's walking around the woods. I'm not letting my boys be, you know. So I sat there by the fire and let them sleep all night until about 5:30. And then Ronnie woke up. I was like, all right, let me get 30 minutes of sleep, dude.
That's what it's all about.
Long-winded answer. So yes, they know how to do the arbor knot, but not for me.
Oh, that's right. That was all about an arbor knot, wasn't it?
We learned it together, Mark. We learned it together.
Okay, but that was a question was all about an arbor knot.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's awesome. That makes it great. All right, hang on. Let me just caught up. I think we said survival cord. Well, okay, yeah. I just my eyes just keep coming back to Gene saying you had too many crayons. Okay, but he had a comment. This is a comment that, you know, if you don't know this trick, this is a thing that you can do with needles. Gene's talking about in the spool, drill a hole, plug or tape the hole, put your needles in there. I mean, there's other types of devices that you can do that into. I mean, small pill cases.
You mean like
I'm going to show off. This is something I'm going to show off here when I do my loadout. So this is a really small Delrin pill case. This is from CountyCom, but definitely you could easily have all your needles and everything in there. And over on the Millstone, we are going to talk about, you know, different types of kits. And you really do need to have a sewing kit if you're going to be spending some time out in the woods. And you need to know how to. And as a man, you should just know how to do basic sewing anyway, because that's a survival skill right there. So
I like
all kinds of different little.
I like that rip spool Exotech makes. I got a couple of them, but they're for what they are. They're expensive, but I got a couple of them and many of these kits behind me.
But as Gene was pointing out, you know, but again, even just putting your needles in the spool and plugging and taping the hole, that's another option. You know, then you know, and then look, you know, and what else could you use that spool or that spindle for? So just think about if that's how you want to do it.
Right. Well, here, on that note, let me ask you, Gene. These are the needles I carry in my kit. It's a big ass needle. It's a canvas needle. There ain't no way I'm fitting that in this thing.
Yeah, but that's unfair, Gimli, because he's talking about sewing needles, not fucking. Hang on, he's not talking about ninja throwing needles and shit, dude.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Is do you think this is overkill, and I should just get a standard like needle?
If you're sewing clothes and stuff, but that right there is a much better needle if you're gonna make repairs on your gear.
Right, for Fedora and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that
well, and even like if you're going through heavier canvases and, you know, whatever. But, you know, for your clothes and your basic stuff, I mean, a sewing needle is just fine.
Okay.
You know, more than enough.
Okay.
So, all right, let me just get caught up here. Gene said, you're the man. Learn me something, giving you props. And he says, Gimli does an excellent job of squirreling away gear. Yeah, Roger to the Dodger. Again, how many more clowns keep coming out of that thing?
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then here, Ground Fog just said, and I was going to say, when we were kind of going back to the needles, there's all kinds of little things out there, and straws are another good storage device for other types of items. You know, again, whether it's needles, certain types of liquids, you know, glues. I mean, well, glues maybe will penetrate the plastic, so think that through, but powder. So, you know, straws are a good thing. And then back to kind of what something John said earlier, straws are plastic. Well, he wasn't mentioning straws, but he was talking about the tip. Plastic, that's a fire starter. You get that thing lit and that's going to go for a while. So good point there, Ground Fog. Thanks for sharing. And you saw this last one. You want to read it? You read it.
Stick in a crayon until you eat it.
Stick the needle in a crayon until you eat it. God, Gene is on a fucking.
I wasn't getting that. I was thinking a crayon in a straw for a snack.
There you go. And then put a needle inside of the crayon. And so see, there's survival. That's all kinds of levels of survival right there.
3 in 1.
Yeah. So
well, way to go,
Gene.
I wonder if you could use a crayon for a fire starter because it's wax, but I don't think it'll actually take flame. It'll just melt. I don't know.
Now, some tells me because kids are involved and kids love fire, crayons are probably not flammable. Hey, somebody let us know in the chat if you know for a fact if crayons are flammable or not. And we're talking Crayola crayons, right? That's the only crayons that Marines eat. It's the only brand that they endorse.
Bring me no dollar store crayons. I'll throw them at you.
Yeah. That's an insult, boys and girls. You can't do it. It's got to be Crayola brand. So if somebody knows it, let us know. All right. Hey, real quickly, I'm just going to give a quick, because mine's different, and just a real quick kind of loadout on how I carry the Ito. And then we're going to kind of transition into showing the potentially new product and having a little bit of a giveaway. And then depending on how much time we have, John and I are going to talk about the hoodies. You can see we're both wearing it. And Gina's en fuego tonight. He wants to know, if you did what you just said, wouldn't you just be warming up your food?
Nice. I got nothing for that, dude. That's awesome.
No, well, that's hard. That's a pretty good one. There's no real room to. You're stuck in a corner right there. Holy crap! Gene's having fun over there.
Hey, that's what we're doing this for, right?
Yep. Hey, here we go. So on the spine of mine, in that where the two elastic loops are, I do just carry a chem light. Again, just another form of potential signal or illumination. But I do take a piece of shock cord, bring it through the very bottom of the chem light. I can pull it out. But then when I get the chem light in there, I just bring the shock cord back up over the top of the chem light and comes down, and it kind of locks it in place. So the chem light isn't going to come out. I've shown that technique in a bunch of different videos. So, just go check out those videos. But even just that little piece of shock cord, and I could lengthen this by just doing a knot on one end, bring it all the way through, and then I could get a pretty decent, not a great buzzsaw, but I could still get a buzzsaw going just even with the shock cord. Hell, I could even get a buzzsaw kind of going with it, just set up the way it is right there. I'll go to the front of mine. Well, here, I'll just take the whole thing apart. So in my little flap, I just got a mechanical pencil and then a space pen. Space pen right here. I do like these space pens, upside down, grease, all that kind of stuff. If you go look at some of the older versions, and if you look at the pictures on the website, and I should have probably had that up to show some of these other things I'm going to talk about, but I can make an attachment for this piece that allows you, if you wanted to, you could then put it on your wrist, but you can also do it on the Ito itself, and that will hold it open in this configuration, and you'll see why that might be important or something you want. We stopped offering it with the Itos because, just not everybody needed it. And everything extra is extra material, extra labor. This isn't cheap, made in China shit. So even those little straps cost money, snaps, the whole 9 yards. So I just don't know if that many people really wanted it. And maybe as we go forward this year, maybe I just reintroduce it and I just give it as an option. Because again, you could then, in essence, use this piece, attach it around your forearm if you wanted to. You could use that piece. I use it to attach to something else, but the other part of it was so you could then get the Ito open at this configuration, and that'll make a little bit more sense going forward. Or if you've already been on the website and seen the pictures, you get the point. And again, I know that sounds a little stupid, but remember all the way back to the story. This was something that, you can't just put this in your lap, any of these things. And if you're doing clandestine operations, it's got to be secure, right? Otherwise, it's going to you're going to be doing something and it's going to be over there and you can't get to it. And that's exactly the time the local police pull you over or whatever. So you want to have everything kind of secure. That was kind of the whole genesis of the, this was way before even the NFL was doing big football. I guess the quarterbacks always had it, but just little things. So anyway, that's the flap. So even the flap is versatile. That's kind of me plugging my own company. Pocket-wise, you already saw it. Matter of fact, it's going to be embarrassing if I open it because my pockets are full of nothing. I've got my business checkbook in one. That's all I have in the front pocket. In the rear pocket, I've got some cordage, and then I've got my business external hard drive. So no matter where I am, I at least have, it's up to date as of my last update on that. I did take one or two things out of the internal pocket because I wanted to show off this new version that we're going to probably think of. Well, we'll see. We'll see what you guys say. And then inside, I use mine's differently. So this right over, oh gosh, dang it, always backwards. This side right here is just like a little piece of grid paper, like in just paper with lines. And then, you know, I'm horrible at remembering things. I need to have notes, and I don't use my phone like the kids do. I could just do all this on my phone, but that's just not how I'm hardwired. I'm a dinosaur. I like writing shit down, right? So I can, oh shit, don't forget to get eggs or don't forget to get milk. I can write that. And even when it doesn't come off. Now we'll talk about writing utensils in a couple seconds. Now, over on this side, I have a couple pieces of signal. So this is just a piece of military VS17 panel. I could have cut this larger, just happened to be some scrap I had. It's a VS17 panel, you know, but it just goes into the back and it gives a little bit of, you know, color. So if you're writing on this, you can just see it a little better. And then like John, let me put this back in here. I have one of our KDCs in there. And for me, you know, I'm not really doing a whole lot on the inside with it right now. It's really just like my kind of cool guy card holder, right? So if I meet somebody in there, I just think about it. You know, I'm a total geek, right? You know, hey, you run a business? Oh, let me see. Oh, let me give you a business card. You know, you open this up, pull that out, give them a business card. They're like, what the fuck is all that? That's usually not what anyone ever says. They're like, you're a dork. You just don't have a business card, or can you just take a, you know, do you have an email or anything? You know, URL? Showing shit off. And then like John on the back, I've just got a little Write in the Rain notebook, because you got to have a Write in the Rain notebook. And then I have, unlike John, and then maybe this will be a good segue, and then we'll go over to the other version. I just have a dry erase marker. So for me, I like using a dry erase marker on the Edo. I definitely want to hear John's comments about why he's using a Sharpie. I mean, it totally can be done, but there's pros and cons. Now, again, I don't know if this is going to show up. This is, I can't remember if this is the original final version or the second original final version, but I don't know if you'll be able to see this. But like, okay, look at that vinyl. That's like, this is like, gosh, like 8 years old, maybe more. That's not very dirty. And just imagine how much I've written on it and, you know, done whatever. And that vinyl is still holding up pretty gosh dang good, in my opinion. Now, I think that's because I'm using a dry erase marker. John's using a Sharpie. So before we go into this debate, let me just get caught up on any comments, John. But I think that's where I want to go next. Matter of fact, I'm going to leave mine open so I can talk about it. Because I want to talk about care and maintenance. And then I do have a couple here, just real quickly, to give you guys an idea. You do you, right? In these main pockets, 2 Glock magazines for, you know, 19 or 17 fit in there. It accommodates it very easily in one pocket. You can, if you can get a Glock magazine, you can get a Gerber tool in there. So Jack from Black Scout Survival has that awesome flashlight with that just incredible bezel. See that bezel right up there? I mean, that is a self-defense bezel like there's no more. That fits in the pockets. And
hey, speaking of Jack real quick, speaking of Jack real quick, since you had your KDC out, I bought Jack's plugs to this company, Dan Wenger Blades out of Michigan, I think.
Dave Wenger.
Dave Wenger.
Yep.
Dude, those I have one of those aphids. It's in a KDC upstairs next to my fireplace. So I have that little knife is awesome and it fits in there perfect. They're hard to get.
And you just made, and I feel bad. I think I misspoke in my post on the chat today. That smaller blade, not the Emerson, but that's a Dave Wenger blade.
I thought that looked familiar. That's a badass blade too.
I think I said something stupid. It's been a busy day, and I just think you know what? I think I said
Wilder or something like that.
I think I said Willis or something like that. No, that's a Dave Wenger blade right there. Very awesome knife.
And they're hard to get. He makes drops 50 of them. They're sold out by the end of the day.
Yeah. And then just to let you know, I mean, I don't remember how that whole thing worked between Jack and him. But either it was intentional or it just got perfect. But those aphids fit in the KDC nicely. Yep. And then last but not least, something else that you might want to carry that fits in the main pockets. You know, this is a true Chemlite with all kinds of 100-mile-an-hour tape with it, all kinds of 550 cord. So that gives me extra, you know, string, cordage, fire starting material, tape to tape up my finger. But this is a no shit, you know, buzz saw right here. And those are some pretty large items. So again, how you use your everyday organizer is how you live your everyday. It's you do you. I gotta start bringing the you do yous back. I haven't done those in a while. I like the you do yous. Maybe that's a t-shirt there, John.
There you go.
You do you, right? And just have a big ass glass of beer or something right next to it. You do you. Hey, by the way, Ground Fog is letting you know in case you didn't see it, but he's, just warning everybody, don't get the sugar-free crayons. They're trash. Yeah. If you're going to do it,
sugar in it too. Right.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, just do it. All right. So that's kind of the loadout. Just showing you a couple different ideas and ways how to do it again. And what we're just really trying to do, no one's saying you have to do it this way or that way, but now you've got an idea of the different size and types of items that can fit into that bad boy and what you might want to do and how you might want to utilize it or put it to advantage. There is going to be maybe one little twist on that version of the Edo coming up as well. I'm going to show you something else in a couple minutes, but even that version of the Edo, this guy right here, because I just made one for somebody who had reached out to me just before Christmas and had a request. I'm like, I never thought about that. Yeah, okay, we'll see what happens. So I'm doing something, and if it works out, I'll make it as an option because maybe, well, I don't want to spoil it. No spoilers, right? So I'll get to that. That'll be another video. Otherwise, I'm destroying all my own content. I'll do that video after in the future, sometime in not too distant future. All right, hey, talk to me about why you're using Sharpies and how effective those because I was wanted to focus on the alcohol wipes. That's important to me to talk about when it comes to that vinyl.
So the reason I went to Sharpies is when I got into the trades, I'm an HVAC tech, and we sometimes when I'm an outdoor unit, I'll write down pertinent information on your electrical panel door, and I noticed that the Sharpies hold up to the weather. When it comes to this land nav kit, when I'm looking at a map, I'm going to plot out a route. I'm going to have all my bearings, headings, azimuths, or whatever written in this. This is going to get folded back up, put in my rucksack, and I'm doing pace count, bearings, boom, boom, boom. And then I'll stop again and pull this out. So I noticed dry erase, when this stuff's moving around, it kind of fluffs off a little bit. So that's why I didn't do dry erase. I've never had an issue with getting Sharpies off with, an alcohol wipe. If I couldn't get it off with an alcohol wipe, I would probably put a little hand sanitizer on there and just buff it out and it'll come out. The one thing I wouldn't do I wish Murph was here because he would laugh. Marines, we use off, not for bug dope. We use it to get stuff off. They would make us mark our racks in the squad bay with paint markers on the brick floor. And when we had to move, we would use off to get it off. Off will take anything off of anything.
Yeah.
But then I think it will etch this and it'll probably fog it up. So I wouldn't use anything that harsh. I think hand sanitizer would probably be the hardest thing I would put on there.
And that's why I wanted to bring up, because when I did the video a couple weeks ago with the ham roll for the G3, somebody said it doesn't take off the marker. It takes off the plastic the marker is on, right? So yeah, when you get bug sprays, something very caustic like that off, even liquid or spray, that is so caustic. This is a plastic, right? Vinyl is a plastic. It corrodes and it pits the material. That you don't want to use that stuff. So again, you do you on what.
Honestly, so these alcohol wipes, they're alcohol wipes, but they're not like alcohol prep wipes for medicinal or medical reasons. These are eyeglass wipes for your sunglasses and your eyeglasses. This will take it off. I bought I got a box of 500 of these things off of Amazon or whatever, and I use them all the time in the vehicles when my sunglasses get dirty. And I put these in a lot of my kits because you can use, it's not 70 or 90% alcohol is my point.
Well, but on that, so that's what I wanted to get at. So, because I was going to say, because there's alcohol prep, which is, a higher on the medicinal side.
Yeah.
There's hand sanitizers, and then eyeglass wipes.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had the eyeglass, right? So that's awesome. So, but all three of those, you know, with the no shit medicinal disinfectant, that's going to be kind of probably your higher. And I don't know if that's an isopropyl or what that is. Don't fucking give me shit about it. But it, you know, but that's going to be your higher end. But even that's not going to be caustic at all, right? So, so whether you're using now, I never knew, and I've never tried it on a Sharpie, and I don't know because I want that one to last, continue lasting. I mean, seriously, you know, Kadura. You don't think about it, but Kadura has a patina. Like this guy's been around for so long. I mean, like it just it looks different. It feels different. It's super broken. And this is no shit Kadura.
Well, hey, on that note, full like transparency, I haven't actually wrote on this with Sharpies because I got this in the summer and I haven't done a land nav course. We're doing one in the spring, but I've used Sharpies on other things like this before and I've never had an issue.
Well, okay, so and that's just it right there. So, but that's why I wanted to come back to it. So, hey, end user beware. You know, like, well, yeah, but if you try it, just like anything, don't be a knucklehead. Don't do it right in the middle of the piece or anything. Go into a corner, like if you're unsure. So here's what I'm, because on this same note, hang on, on the same note, I'm going to say the same thing about grease pencils. Not all grease pencils are the same. And grease pencils, well, they're grease pencils, right? So, you know, if you want to figure it out and get down and get your cleaning capabilities and your thing done, do it in a small section in a corner. And I'll show you some other things about dry erase markers. But the real point, though, is because alcohol pen, grease pencil, and even a dry erase marker, because they can dry up and, you know, leave a residue and be there. The three things, if you want to go into the highest level, in my humble opinion, of what you want to use, it's one of those three types of wipe. You know, it's either like a no joke, you know, sanitary wipe, you know, sanitary napkin from like a, you know, the fast food place,
or the stuff you get at the Wingstop, or you know, for when you go to the Wingstop.
So there's really three types of those wipes. There's the glasses, there's for your hands, and then there's no shit medicinal, right? So you'll be okay with those things. I always tell people start off with hot soap and water because that really works good. So I don't know what you're going to be using. But my last point before give us a heads up here on what he's doing, here's just another little stupid trick you might not be aware of. So if I take, now this is a dry erase marker. Now, this is what I prefer. Again, you know, John's right, but you know, I'm not then throwing this in a ruck and having it go like this for the next 20 miles. That's going to affect a dry erase marker. Hands down, no doubt he's right. Doing this and walking around with it and carrying it, you know, and you know, that isn't doing shit. The whole item is moving. But so on that note here, I'll do it on the white side. All right. So a big woo, right? Woo. Right now, normally it'll just come right off. But let's just say you had it on there. Here, I'm going to do this differently. Let's say that kind of dried out and got stuck on there, right? So here's just a cleaning thing I wanted to point out about vinyl. Any other type of plastics, it's the same thing when you laminate certain items. Like if you're talking about laminated maps, don't forget there's chemicals in your marker, whether it's an alcohol pen or a Sharpie. And if this gets dry,
rewrite over it, right?
Just write over it. You don't have to write, just squiggle over it. I can't tell you how many times I've brought this back to life by just simply squiggling over whatever I wrote. And then I was a lazy son of a bitch and I didn't go off and clean it when I should have. And then, you know, 4 days later, I'm like, it's caked on. Just write back over it. And then it'll come back to life once you get that chemical back in with the original chemical. I don't know, whatever. I'm sure there's
just so you guys know, because Mark, what do you say? Doing or talking ain't doing ain't trying.
Oh, dude, you got to try it. Do it in the corner. Yeah. Let's
that's no bullshit. That's a Sharpie.
Hey, hang on. Before you go, boys and girls, I would never have recommended this. I'm going to be just as equally impressed or disappointed. We'll see what John does.
It's dry. It's not coming off with my finger. You can still see it.
Here, actually do the camera back down because the light was better. So I think we'll see it better if it's down. There you go. Yeah, we'll see it better. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Do it in the light there. There you go.
Can you see that dot right there?
Yeah, hold it up a little bit just towards the camera. I can see it, but most people should put it towards the camera. Right here we got it. We got
it. Coming off.
Yep.
This is just an eyeglass wipe, and it just came right off. You can see the black Sharpie. On the. You can't. the light's
Oh,
not
we can
big
see
enough,
it.
but
No,
you
we
can
can
see
see
the
it,
black on the eyeglass wipe.
John, we can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
And then you can see it's gone. And this is just like some generic eyeglass wipe. I keep them in for my sunglasses in my van. I keep a handful in my work van and then my truck. And my wife wears glasses all the time. I put them in her, like right where your door handle is. You know how there's like a little cutty right there.
Put the camera back on you. Put the camera back on you.
Just put a handful of them there. They're all over my house. They work out great.
Here, can you hold, hey, just hold that up close to the camera like my hand so people can see it clearly. Up higher. There you go. Yeah, people should be able
I literally
to see it.
just went on Amazon and I put eyeglass wipes.
Eyeglass wipes. Okay.
And
Hey, John, before you go, hey, John, seriously, I did not know how that was going to go. A Sharpie marker is like, a lightsaber. I didn't think you were going to get that off. And like, if somebody would have said, I'm going to use a Sharpie, I would have been like, well, I'm not making you a new one because you fucked up your old one.
Right.
But
well, another reason I went to the Sharpies too is because I like the fine tip ones, and you get all the different colors, and I'm the freaking accessorizer, so I'm like, gotta get different colors in there.
no, dude, hey, I think that's the bullshit artist calling you right now, calling bullshit.
Yeah, no, I think that's my wife probably trying to get a hold of me. They're on their way home.
What are you doing, you goofball? And you're like,
my son's getting his cast taken off.
Yeah, but you're like, but I'm a rock star. I'm on social media right now. I can't can't do anything. All right, hey, let me just get caught up here on this, and then we're going to end it here. Hey, I'm here to tell you that, boys and girls, I'm not joking. This is the whole thing. We're like, hey, give me a shout out. Tell everybody where you're from. It helps me, calm down and, just not get so freaked out about being on live, internet where the world sees everything and whatever. And I know that sounds weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's really tough. I can be in front of you and have a beer with you and 100 million people in person, but the camera thing is a little weird. So, leave the comment. But to the major point I'm trying to make is like what John's doing right now. I mean, it's serious. If any one of you who are watching it live, or if you watch it on demand, if anybody wants to be a guest for these loadout lives, that's what I want these Thursday nights to be. This isn't just about me. I mean, I showed you my loadout. My loadout was boring. Freaking Gimli gets on here and he's got dwarves coming out of the car. And you're like, how many dwarves can you fit in an Edo? I don't know. Ask Gimli. He's got the answer. So, hey, what the hell? All right, but that's what I like. So if you ever want to be a guest on here for a Loadout Live, and we've got tons of stuff to talk about. So just all you have to do is just leave me a comment or shoot me an email or give me a phone call. I would love to. This is what makes it so much fun. And I have had the opportunity to get to know John now more, and it's awesome, right? And that's who you guys and gals are. You're awesome people. I mean, maybe one or two of you are dicks or something. I don't know, but John's not. And it's been great talking to him. And we're going to do our after action review here. Well, it depends if that was his wife calling, say, you get your ass, cooking or something. I don't know. We'll see.
No. We're good. We're good. The warden's put away in a deep, dark closet somewhere in the bowels of the house. I'm just joking, internet. I'm just joking. I told her she was not allowed to be the fun police tonight.
Oh my gosh. That's too fucking hilarious. All right, here we go. Just real quickly, some comments, and then I'm going to show the new version, and we're going to have a little contest. That's right. The fluff lasted all the way until the end of the video. Fluff guy, fluffer. And I mean it seriously, dude. I love it. I don't know if you were giving me a hard time or if you just meant it generically, but you can tell. I mean, I like it. I don't take any offense to it. I think it's fucking humorous. I'm going to be, I don't know we don't know what skint means, Gene. We're Americans. We don't speak your weird version, your bastardized version of our language. We don't know what skint means. So but Gene is going to be skint this year, and his birthday's next week. Hey, many returns, happy returns. Congratulations, my good man.
Maybe skint means like you say saving. Maybe it's short on funds.
Skint?
Going to be skint this year. I have no idea. But he said he's going to start saving.
All right, we've already spent too much time trying to figure out their crazy language. All right, let's move on. Gene, we love you. We're just giving you shit, brother. John, he's saying thanks for the demo.
I love the Ric Flair too, by the way.
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, and awesome. So you know how that all started?
That video was funny. Funny.
You know how that started? Again, I don't know if Gene saw that, but that started making the rounds on the chat, and I made sure I sent it to him. And like, in case he didn't see it, I mean, come on, Ric Flair giving a whole bunch of woos.
No, I thought Gene put the Ric Flair on there, didn't he?
No, I think one of you guys did, and I think it was Blackbeard who did it.
Oh,
and,
was it?
Anyway, it's pretty badass, and it's great to see Gene embracing the woo that is Ric Flair. So, and then Groundfog was talking about, what one of the things that the fact that those eye lens cleaners, that's enough alcohol to take a Sharpie off of that, that vinyl. I really thought you were going to be screwing it up. That's why I was just like everything. You do it in a corner in case something doesn't work, right? Don't just do it in the middle. And then Gene saying you have pens to match your crayons. It's just never going to get old, brother. It's not going to get old. And then Groundfog, he's probably from Western Minnesota, out by the Western Minnesota, North Dakota area. So, okay, hopefully you're not in, what is that out there? I always screw it up. Brainerd. Is it Brainerd or Bemidji? I can never remember which one is out there near the Dakota border, but hopefully you're not there. Skint means poor, according to Gene. Well, thanks for cueing us in on your guys' slang. All right, so skint means poor. He's a little hurting for cash. He's got his birthday. He's going to start saving up. We'll make sure we got you. Hang on there, Gene. We'll make sure. And then he's saying he followed WWE for years.
Mm.
And then last comment. Then we're
WWF. I haven't seen it since it was WWF.
I don't know. You geeks and your wrestling. I mean, whatever.
I mean, I grew up in the 90s. That was huge when I was a kid.
And then Alpha Omega chiming in, and we kind of, in our just amazement that a Sharpie marker came off, we forgot to talk about hand sanitizer is another one that you can use, right? Again, that's alcohol pens, grease pencils, dry erase markers. I guess apparently Sharpies too. Sharpies, maybe you're not as invincible as I've always thought you were. I mean, I've got Sharpies all over the place. So, I mean, I use them actually when I'm doing my outlines of my patterns for the gear I make for you guys. I use Sharpies for that. I probably go through dozens of silver Sharpies because, just you go through them so quickly.
Well, it's funny. Honestly, I think I started doing it. Now that I think back, I used to laminate maps of the local public hunting areas, and I'd get them laminated, and would use Sharpie on the hard laminate, and then use alcohol wipes. So that's going way back. But as far as the Sharpie lasting long, I didn't realize how it would hold up until I was in the HVAC field, and we're writing on stuff that's outside in the weather, and it's still on there. Sharpies
actually are pretty cool. Gene saying hand sanitizer makes a good fire starter. And then Alpha Omega says, yes, it does, Gene. Yep. So chiming in. All right, here we go. So a little bit of fun contest. If you're watching live, you can leave your comment in the chat if you want, but the way I'll track this is the comments to the video after it posts, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. So I already kind of gave you the background of the original version, Everyday Organizer. And maybe we will make something closer to that original version. But I've had a bunch of people and some recently asking for a much smaller version of the Everyday Organizer because this is too much. And for these guys, they're like, oh, but I only just have these smaller 3x5 right in the reins. So this is our prototype. Just like anything, we have to create space in the work order process for prototyping. So this is just something that we wanted to do last year. We just got plugged in. There's going to be one little tweak on as I show it to you, but this is a smaller Everyday Organizer that's going to be designed just for these Right in the Rain notebooks. Now, I'm here to tell you, boys and girls, we might not make this because, this is a business and there's got to be at least, I can't do this to lose money. And I know for this style thing, I'll be competing. I mean, everything I do, I'm competing against cheap ass shit from China. And, I wish America and the rest of the world would wake up and ask themselves, hey, if I'm only spending $40 for that thing and it was made by humans in another country, transported from that factory to some type of, railhead or, warehouse, then, somehow gets to a ship, then goes on a ship across the, halfway across the world to some port of entry in America, then to a distribution center, and then to me, and it only cost $50. And that business didn't lose money doing that.
And you throw it away next year because it's crap.
That's what I'm getting at. That just tells you how shitty that material must be, and also how shitty they treat their people. You want to be a part of that? You do you. That's not who we are at Centerline Systems. So that's my long-winded way of saying I don't know if this is even going to be a product because, we've got to make a handful of them, get our timing run down, figure out our labor, do my cost of goods on this. But this is what we're thinking of because, well, it fits very nicely inside the meat bag. You could actually even have this, if you wanted to, inside of your everyday organizer. I just jammed it in there. You would pack it out differently, but there's so many different ways you could do this. And at the end of the day, it's kind of the same concept. So this elastic on the front, we made it a little bit too long. So it'll be kind of tight around the front. So your notebook, and then you can still put some other things in here. And then to open this up and access the notebook, all you'll have to do is just pull it down, and now it's out of the way. The notebook opens up, right on it, or go to the back side. And here we'll probably do an insert. Like right now, I've just got some white, cardboard, stock type of paper. I could put loom tape in here. Luminescent tape. That may not show up very well. I could cut that to size. Here, this will show up a little bit better if I do it this way. There you can kind of see, luminescent, because then I could write on it. The white works good for that too, so you could do it yourself as long as you write with a black marker. That'll still show up at nighttime. This is kind of getting a little bit closer to the original concept. You'd be able to put a few things in there. We might do a loom tape insert, or you could just do a VS17 insert if you want a little piece of signal, or the loom tape, or your own card stock if you wanted. That's all it is. And on the back side, let me just get this out of the way. Back side, you'll have 2 pen pouches, and they'll be separated. It'll be sewn down there. And I'll show you a couple things. Some of these go into the pens, and then Velcro, so you can put your patch or little safety lights. These are these. I don't think this company makes them anymore. I bought a shit ton of them when they did. I put Velcro up inside of my cap brim, and then the brim of my cap. These guys then can fit up there, and now you got a little cap light.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was way before. That was before that shit was kind of becoming cool. I just don't know if these guys make anything anymore. These are just a few that I still have around. But that's going to be it. Keep it simple, stupid. It's for these type of notebooks. But just on that note, and again, then there's a vinyl surface, so you could still flip the notebook out of the way. Right on it, you could outline how we're going to enter the room, or how we're going to do whatever, make your grocery list. Again, I probably will do a loom tape insert. Honestly, the truth is, I hate saying that because I'm going to charge you money for it, whereas you could just go buy this or just get some card stock and do it yourself. So stay tuned. I'm not sure how I'll do. I'm not a very good business person. I'll figure that out, though. I should be trying to, and buy this for me. But
Rome wasn't built in a day, Mark. Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. Yeah. Every day's learning experience. That's the definition of life right there, brother.
Yeah, well, but I just always think that shit's cheesy. It's just as cheesy as saying it's $49.99. Just call it $50.
I don't think so, dude. The day I'm not learning is the day you're putting me in the ground.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I just don't like doing cheesy shit. And I think some of that shit is cheesy. It's just as cheesy as saying this is $49.99. Just call it $50.
Yeah.
Like, who are you really fooling? I know they say, well, no, you're actually fooling a lot of people by saying $49.99. I see that and I get annoyed. I'm like, just call it $50. It's just, what are you really doing? But anyway, I was digressing. Just to give you a couple other options or ideas. Passport. Oh, here, let me just take this out real quickly. No, I'm going to leave it in there. Passport. That's the max width that'll fit in there, but you could fit a passport in there. So you could have your passport in here, your notebook, you can write in English. Please help me. I don't speak your language. I'm a knucklehead, but passport is the largest thing that fits in there. Back to what you said, the smaller notebooks that open up more like books, that fits in there all day. This is one from Black Scout Survival. That'll fit in there. What doesn't fit in there, and I don't know why you would do it anyway, is what are these guys again? Moleskines or Moleskines. Those little notebooks, they're hardcover. They're kind of standalone things. That's already a large item. this isn't really designed for that. You would just carry this by itself and put it in there. But that's what we're thinking of doing.
Hey, Mark, can you wear that under your shirt like a neck knife? Is there?
Well, you know what? See now, but so here's the problem.
Because I seen the passport, I'm like,
Yeah, but see now the problem with that is then you're kind of make it into an ID card holder. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I could maybe put some grommets up in the corner, and then you could do your own, 550 necklace. But this is designed to go into your front pocket, and that's the way better. Who's pickpocketing your front pocket, right? If somebody's really stealing your shit, front pocket around your neck, they're gonna because they got a gun to you and they're gonna steal your shit, right? So it kind of doesn't.
I'm just thinking out loud. Ignore me.
Yeah. Well, no, because the only way, because to do what you say, I have to make it larger, bulkier, and then it's got to.
It's cumbersome.
Yeah, and it just is. This is really perfect. We actually are going to tweak it. This is going to be one full, that's about a half inch, a little bit narrower. And then this, like I said, this elastic, we have to lose an inch of the elastic so it's a little bit tighter. And then that's the finished product. And that's what we're kind of doing. And then that's part of the contest. So I'll get into, but anyway, so that's what we're thinking on the Everyday Organizer. It's not really the original. The original is actually kind of a mix between those two versions. And maybe I'll show that. Oh, and I'm sorry. I had my one last little thing because I emptied out my wallet. The wallet I carry just to show this. So maybe this goes in your cargo pocket and you want to make it a little bit more like your wallet. So you can see I've got a pen and I've got a dry erase marker back here. But just to give you other ideas, this is a full-size Bic lighter, so depending on what you want to put back there. Now, that pocket goes the whole north and south. So if you're going to do something like that, have it, on some other thing like a lanyard or the ability to pull it out. Because everything I'm going to show you, I'm just giving you ideas. This is one of those small little flashlights. You can find them over on CountyCom. There's a million different types of versions of that. What's nice about this one, though, is that has a clip. Oop, I got it in, put it in. I almost did That's What She Said joke, right? But so there you can see that comes right up to the top of it. Here's a smaller survival kind of mini. This is a AAA, just one AAA flashlight. But that's got a small lanyard. Keep that in there, have a little way to pull it out. And then again, a pill case, or like what John was talking about, or we were talking about earlier, you could turn this into a needle case or whatever you want this for. This is that Delrin high-end plastic. Again, it's got a little bit of a lanyard, so maybe put a lanyard so you could pull it out. But that just gives you an idea of the different types of items that'll fit back into the pen pockets if you wanted to use it somehow differently and not just have pens back. All right, that ends my little show and tell. I'm going to read comments here, John, get caught up. And then we're going to have a little contest because we're doing our timing run on this. Well, here, I'll just do the contest right now. Then I'll read comments, and then we'll kind of start wrapping it up. Maybe we'll talk about hoodies. We're at an hour.
I got the time, brother.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we just wrap it up here. That'll take us another 10 to 15. That won't be
fine.
bad. That's a little bit long, but
hey,
I have stupid names for this right now. All my names are like Pocket Organizer. That sounds really ridiculous, So I'm just I stopped thinking about it today, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just have a naming convention. So we'll have a contest. Don't do it you can share it on the live if you want, but really leave a comment in the video once it posts and come up with a name. And if you come up with a great name or name that we like, or even if you come up with a name because again, there might be more than one winner. If you come up with a name that's so over the top that I laugh, anyway, because this might not be a product. That's where I was trying to go with this whole thing at the beginning. I might not be able to construct this at a low enough price point for me to actually be able to sell it without it being crazy, right? And so there's going to be some changes coming on the website soon because there's a couple of our products that we're just not going to make anymore because I'm literally losing money making products. Last I checked, businesses don't go into business to lose money. So I don't know. Something tells me, that's not a good idea. So, but anyway, so this might not be a product. I'm going to make one for me. Cindy, my sewer, she's going to make one for her. We're going to make a handful of more, so we get our timing run down and we can then do our whole cost of goods and figure out if we have a product or not. And if we do have a product, the ones we make, they'll go over to Alex Messenger for photographs. But if there's a name that really is catchy and it's fun, I'll make you one, even if we don't make it as a product, and you want it in a different color from the ones we're making for our timing runs, I'll make you one just as a gift, even if it doesn't ever become a product. So think about it. What would you call this little dude, guy, organizer? I don't know. Don't tell me right now. I mean, if you Gene's already Gene is
fired.
I gotta get caught up on the comments, but I just saw Gene's last comments. Gene is en fuego tonight, man.
Don't tell me you said the crayon pouch.
Yeah, he called it a pocket crayon pouch. Dude, it's the PCP. That might be the winner right there. I'm sorry. That might just now, Gene, it's only going to count for the contest. You'll have to leave a comment, not in the chat, but on the video. So, because that's what I'm going to draw from. But I'm here to tell you that's a pretty fucking strong contender.
And then you need to get like a picture, have Alex Messenger do a picture of a Marine with a Kevlar on, and it like stuck in there like Vietnam style instead of a pack of cigarettes. It's the PCP.
Well, then instead of having pens and stuff on the back,
crayons in it.
Like couple
like the big crayons that are
yeah, like some brightly colored crayons. I mean, again, Gene, I don't know what Gene's doing, but that's awesome.
He's got to have a half a bottle of gin in him or something.
I mean, well, I don't know, man, but he is killing it over there. Let me see. All right, here's where we go. We got up on some comments. So Tennessee decided to join us. Hey, Tennessee, we haven't seen you in a while. She goes, hiya, boys.
Hello.
And she says, hi. See, Gene gets his own hi. The rest of us are just called boys. Gene gets his own Gino. All right. We see how that goes. Gene's just giving her a hello back. Watch it back for fun.
Tennessee, Gene's on fire tonight. He's been making us laugh.
Yeah. Now here's a comment though, a little bit more serious. Nice mini pack, lots of uses, but the Ito for me, ATAX AU always looks great. So again, that's just it though. I think what we're going to try to do is we're probably going to try to bracket I want it small, the Three Bears, however you want to look at it. So there's a couple different options and things. I mean, the meat bag is almost like the larger version because then you're putting in notebooks and stuff like that. But if we do this, like you got the Ito, maybe that's the middle, maybe we make a larger one. But this guy right here, if we can make it into a product, that's going to be for just the 3x5s. Ground Fog talking about a grommet on each corner to necklace it. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I'll have to make. I know this sounds stupid, but I have to increase the signature or the outline of it by a full ½ inch. And then that might not be very accommodating to put into your front pocket, or it definitely would work in a cargo pocket. So Ground Fog, we're not 100%.
The intent in front pocket is what you're saying. The intent is front
What's that?
Pocket. The intent is front pocket is what you're going after, though.
That is my intent right now. Yeah. Because I personally. Yeah. So for me personally, I mean, I get it because then it could be an ID card holder as well. And that makes it more versatile. I mean, we got to think about that. Right. So, but again, this area here has to be a 1/4 inch wider. And then it has to be at least a 1/4 to a ½ inch taller. That changes the whole profile, the outline. That changes how much real estate, how it's taken up. But Ground Fog, great point. And we're definitely thinking about, because if I was going to do a necklace, I would just leave it up to you to make your own necklace out of 550 cord. But you need the grommets for that. So you're absolutely right. Alpha Omega is saying a couple small 550 loops might not hurt. Yeah. I mean, that might be better than the grommets because okay. Because
I like that. The dummy cord. I like that.
Yeah, that's not a bad one right there.
I mean, the grommets, could you put them on the inside a little bit where they're punching through the Kadura, so they're not on the corners, they're just inside?
Well, even on the corners would be going through the Kadura. The Kadura goes all the way out to the corners.
Right.
But I actually think if we did it, it might be a little bit.
So keep the same size, but the grommets are inside.
Okay. Leave those comments as well. As we continue with this, leave those comments. But so I'm kind of hearing right now that people would like the ability to put it around your neck. I personally wasn't thinking of it as an albatross. See, there's the name I would have come up with. You guys all want it around your neck. And don't forget, an albatross was a good luck until some idiot, shot it and, killed it. Right. But if you guys want to have this around your neck, I mean, I can see that, again, an ID holder,
this makes it more versatile.
Yeah. It makes it a little more versatile. Well, then, but then you're not doing stuff. Well, okay, we'll think about that. Those are 2 good points. I've got to take that in consideration. 3 if I count, the king crayon eater. But then we got, again, just got to throw it up there.
That's awesome.
Gene, leave that once the video posts, leave that as the name PCP. That actually, pocket crayon pouch. That's just too fucking funny. something about Nam. Like, no, we're not.
Because I was
Or
talking
Nam.
about putting it in your Kevlar.
Oh yeah, like a
Like a
Nam.
Nam, like a pack of cigarettes,
Yep,
Marlboro lids, and your Kevlar.
Yep. Well, Snowshoe's already saying he thinks Gene wins on the name. Well, let's not rush to judgment. That's like counting the votes before we even have the election.
That's a high standard.
But that's a pretty damn good one. PCP, it's like doing a drug. Well, see, that's what I would actually. So, Gene, you're kind of getting into my brain. That's probably what I would end up doing. I'd probably just like the KDC, and I don't have. And here, I got it right here. But if we did it, Gene, that we would probably do something like the KDC loops, and then you could run your cordage through like that, because that's what you can do with the KDC. So, Gene, that's what I was thinking. Instead of grommets or the 550 cord, because that binding tape is super freaking strong. It's way stronger than people might think. That's what I would think. If we did it, we would probably do it with the binding tape loops on that, and we could probably get that in there. Yeah. Okay, boys and girls. Great points. I guess what I'm hearing so far, but leave comments over on the outside of the video along with what name you want to submit or what joke. You might get one for free just because you told me a good joke. You know how I'm a knucklehead. So, but do that over, or if you want to be. Gene is just trying to scare off the competition right now, Gimli. I think he's like, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say PCP, and then no one's going to leave a suggestion in the actual video, and I'll win by default.
Dude, with all the laughs he's given me today, I'll go in half on it with you, and we'll just send him one for his birthday.
For his birthday. I think it's his birthday. Yeah, and he's skint.
He's skint.
Yeah, whatever.
So if you're broke ass poor, does skint go to scant or is it still skint? That's what I want to know.
All right, this is kind of
turning levels to the skintness.
This is turning into a little bit of the Friday conversation, but so hey, and then Ground Fog's given another suggestion, maybe some extra hook and loop with matching hook and loop, and I see that. But honestly, Ground Fog, I think the binding tape is where my brain would go, or the grommets. Okay, but so not the 550. No offense to the hook and loop. That would work, but then that also could interfere with your axis. So I'd have to think that through a little bit. And it would definitely be more of a breakaway at that point. So that could be good for a survival thing. Like, so somebody grabs it and tries to choke you out, it would break away. So if you want to look at it from a personal defense perspective, the hook and loop isn't a bad idea. Okay, guys, let me just think about it. Alpha Omega Point, some other realities, and that's where my brain was going. It'll be easier for me to do, and it'll be less. So therefore, it's less money to the customer. And I'm not sure if this is even going to be a product if I just do the binding tape as opposed to some of these other ideas. Because the other ideas, it's more time, more labor, and it might be a little bit more difficult in construction. But more importantly, from my humble opinion, I don't want the profile to be any larger. So I would want to do it so it stays because it's at a really good profile right now for putting it into your front pocket and taking it out of your front pocket. I start changing that's going to maybe be a little bit more of a pain in the ass. So, and the tape, and as Alpha said, and I already have that. And there's other thing too. I've got tons of 550 cord, but then you've just got to look at cutting it, and there's all kinds of stuff that goes in there. So you saw that. Seriously, how do you get here? If for those who aren't reading it or are just listening, Gene, our friend from across the pond, just said he wants to know, how do you confuse a Marine ? And he goes, you turn his crayons upside down. Yeah, this is odd. We've already lost control of our Thursday night loadout live. This is becoming a Friday. Yeah, I'm going to rein it in here. Tennessee saying Gene's on fire. And then Gene just sent us an icon of a crayon. And on that note, John, let's not talk about the hoodies. Let's save that for another time because it's already almost an hour and a half. I want to give you an opportunity to give an outro, make final observations, whatever you want to do.
Dude, I'm a simple man. I got nothing to say, but your gear's great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the laughs, Gene. So I'll talk to you guys all in the real quick, you said that that chat I think you should bring that up more often. I know you had a video about it a while ago, and it lost my mind, and I didn't think about signing up for it until you mentioned it, I think a week ago. It was super. If you guys aren't on it, it was super easy to register. And I mean, I was on there in 5 minutes.
I know what you're talking about. The Telegram. The Telegram.
Yeah. It's not like it's another Facebook or anything like that. And it like you give Telegram access to your contents, and hell, a bunch of my friends were already on it. So I would mention that more, because I was nice to hell, Blackbeard's been on fire on there today. I mean, with the knives, and I think we should have a contest. Who can find me in that picture when I was in Greece? We will find the skinny younger me, because I was like, who the hell is that? Oh shit, that's me.
Hey, I'm here to tell you, you're right. I had to scan through it, but once I saw everybody, I picked you. I knew, and I'll show you maybe on the phone afterwards or whatever. Yeah, but I was like, nope, there he is right there. And I was like, here. Okay, boys and girls. Hang on. Boys and girls, on the way out, if you're willing to stick around for just a couple more seconds, here we go. In honor of John. John wanted me to play something else, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's but here's what I am going to play though.
We can take him. It's a long way. Toss me. What? I cannot jump the distance. You have to toss me. Don't tell the elf. Not a word.
All right. Hey, so let me come back over here. We just had to do it. I mean, John's such a good guy and good sport. But when if you come over on Telegram, we kind of got sidetracked down the rabbit hole. That's
my only outro is, hey, you guys get on it. I like talking to you guys.
Yeah, no, it's lots of fun over there. And, there's some good, again, it's the stuff you're not going to see. And I do have to get off my ass and get way back at even trying to be halfway shitty at social media this year. But I'm having so much fun with these lives. And I've got limited time. If I'm going to spend it, I like this, but let's be honest, I got to start. Maybe I have to go on to Facebook, Instagram more, but over on the Telegram, on the group chat, it is lots of fun because there's a lot of this kind of shit talking going back and forth. There's lots of good information though too. Learn Me Something's been sharing a lot of stuff.
I'm sure some ideas and videos are going to pop up.
Yeah, and he's been.
Was it DB or Phil had the knife in the boot? I mean, it could be a content creator. You know what I mean? We could come up with different ideas to, comb over, and it's a.
All I'm just trying to say is it's fun. People are sharing, other things that they find from other parts of the internet, informative, entertaining, and just sharing how they're doing stuff. So if you ever are interested, come on over to Telegram. Just reach out to me. You can find me at, Centerline Systems or Mark. You're supposed to be able to send me a request, but what I've had to do is people just pop in, say hi, and then I send them the link or something. But I don't know. I don't know all of it. So
what I'll tell you, I signed up, shared my contacts. You automatically, I don't know. Did you personally send me the link? Or
but you're one of my contacts. So you just automatically showed up.
Popped up, and I was like, because I was searching for you, you will not come up if I'm searching, and I'm like, what the hell? And then like a half an hour later, I looked and I seen an invite with the link.
Yeah, I don't understand why that's not happening that way, because you're supposed to be able to just go and type it on. You could either type in Centerline Systems or CLS.
I did both.
Or CLS Gear Chat. So
I didn't. I don't think I did CLS Gear Chat. I think I just did CLS or Centerline Systems.
Yeah, you should be able to do CLS Gear Chat or Centerline, and then you should be able to come in. Hey,
I've only been on there a couple of days. I'm having fun with it, guys. So John sharing good information and things with everything. Hey, let me just wrap this up here, John. You and I still after action review, and it's already 20:30 your time. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. We went a little long tonight, but that's all right, because this guy
has more freaking dwarves in his gear, and they just keep coming out. I mean,
Just wait for the Sherpa belt, baby. A couple months. It's actually right back there, sitting on top of the deep freezer with my shotgun because I went hunting on Tuesday.
And he actually has a really cool way with that scabbard. But
Yeah,
here we go. Ground Fog, excuse me. Ground Fog is saying he messaged a request on Instagram. I hate to say it, Ground Fog. I really suck at Instagram because Instagram sucks. I'm going to try to get better at it. Maybe this whole thing with, you know, that cyborg, and maybe they're going to start getting back to, an actual platform as opposed to a publisher. I don't know, but I'm so banned on Instagram right now. It's like, why do I even waste my time? So we'll see, but I'll go check out Instagram. I mean, I'm still there, and I might start doing Facebook again. We'll see. Maybe things will change. Tennessee is laughing. And then, Gene is saying something about a Marine airborne unit. I don't know. We're going to move on past that. Right? All right.
I don't know nothing about that.
Now I get it. When he tossed the dwarf. Oh. That's it right there.
That's a good one, too.
That's a good one. Gene is
good Lord, Gene.
He is throwing smoke grenades and grenades. He's just Gene stabbing.
I'm not joking. We need you send him one of those things if he wants it for his birthday.
Gene is just getting all out of control here tonight. And I think it's the Ric Flair icon it's done something to him. He is throwing flaming woos
it's like
all night long.
Sly Stallone in that arm wrestling movie where he turns his hat backwards. It's Gene's Ric Flair's the hat going backwards. What was that called? Over the Top? You know what movie I'm talking about from the 80s?
I have no idea.
Oh, dude, good movie. Good Sly Stallone movie, dude.
No,
He's an arm wrestler, truck driver.
I think you're just embarrassing yourself.
I swear to God. You got
no one knows what you're talking about.
I swear to God, it's a movie. It's a B movie, but
hey, wait, and then here at the very end, this will be our final comment, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Lisa, it just joined us, never been on a live before, and her comment was here. I got to pop it up. I missed the live stream, but I'll definitely check it out in review since I have one on the way. Yes, you have one of these bad boys on the way. No one has one of these things yet, so we'll see. So yeah, go back and watch the video. And there was a chance to maybe win one of these things. So go back and rewind, but glad to see you're here. Always liking having more people on the live stream. Try to have fun. And boys and girls who didn't catch the end of her comment, from Australia. That's right.
Nice.
Yep. So badassery right there.
Nice.
Learn me something saying that you're right. I don't know what you're right about.
I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong. That's what I tell my wife anyway.
Girls, we already know he fucked up by saying let's just move on. You know, his marriage is his concern, but let's just move on.
Hey, we're 20 years plus going strong. She would roll her eyes though if she was here.
Oh, he's saying the movie is called Over the Top. But learn me something. Gimli is also getting a little over the top here, so we're going to wrap this up because this is not Friday. This is Thursday. Tomorrow's still a work day for some of us hardworking American people trying to run a small business. John's like, dude. Well, anyway, I don't want to share that story. But anyway, the last time we got together, I
had 3 beers tonight. If you guys go back a couple weeks, it got a little, a 12-pack I drank.
Yeah, well, we all have a little bit of fun, but
but
we're all adults.
Friday night,
and then we got to get up and do shit the next morning. So if you want to play,
let the steam out.
You want to play, you got to pay. All right, we're wrapping it up here. Thank you very much for joining us. For whoever stayed with us through this shit show of a live stream that we did tonight, I really appreciate it. Hopefully, we showed you more Gimli because of all the shit that he had in there. Not only ideas for how the Edo, but there was some other good pieces of gear in there, and we all learned something. I'm not joking. I did not think the Sharpie was going to come off that vinyl. That was some good info because Sharpies are damn good markers, and for a smaller item, you might only be able to carry 2 different things. And if that Sharpie can work and still come off and be cleaned, well, then the Sharpie is going to work way better than a dry erase marker or a grease pencil on so many other surfaces, right? So, you might want to look at it from that perspective. And,
and if you get the felt tip, the fine felt tip one, you can use that on a Write and Rain pen. I mean, if you get the fat one, that might bleed through, but the real fine tip, so now you don't have to carry a pen.
Yeah, and that's what I use for marking all my material, the fine pits. I usually buy them in boxes. well, things are getting a little weird now. And now you're only, like some places are only selling them individually. I'm like, I used to get these like a dozen at a time, 2 dozen at a time. What the hell's going on here? But anywho, we digress. I hope you got, boys and girls, have a great rest of your night, whether it's Thursday or Friday, like it is for Lisa over in Australia. So Lisa, have a great Friday night while we're all going to sleep. We'll be out there, rocking it, dreaming about your Centerline Systems gear, getting ready for the weekend and going out there and crushing it. The rest of us will be getting up tomorrow and going to work. One more day until the weekend, boys and girls. I hope you can join us tomorrow night, Cialis After Dark, 1800 Central. We'll have DBs for sure and triple X's for sure. We're not sure about Patrick P. Rick, and we're going to wrap up our conversation about Coast and Benghazi and kind of put that. And of course, with everything that's going on, I'm sure we'll have some current events that pop up there as well. I just saw some people chiming in. We got a couple comments. It was good night. Thanks, Mark. Alcohol will remove Mr. Mondo. Yeah, that's what we were just kind of demonstrating and talking about earlier. I don't know if you came in a little bit late, but yeah. And thanks for being over there on Rumble. I ain't going to tell anybody what to do. You do you, but man, I'm kind of getting a little disappointed on the Rumble thing right now. And I would rather Rumble was better than ScrewTube, but right now I hate to say it, ScrewTube is better than Rumble. So, but it's nice to see you, Mr. Mondo. Thanks for coming on over on the Rumble side. All right, boys and girls, that's all I got. John, final comments?
Hey, man, you guys have a good night. Thanks for watching.
Okay, all right. Thanks for putting up with us. We made that a little bit long, but, it was fun, and it's Thursday night, so whatever. So tomorrow we'll see you over on Cialis After Dark. I don't really have much to say about next week. I got to figure it out. Just still trying to get my shit together at the beginning of this year. So I'll probably do a video. Well, I'm going to do a video on bundling the next business day stuff. And I'll probably make some announcements in that, and I'll do some stuff on Instagram and some smaller stuff over on X as well, kind of talking about what we're going to do for the live next week and what next week's Cialis After Dark is going to be. I'll keep you guys posted. Until then, you know the deal. If you've got questions, comments, reach out. I'll do the best I can. Well, the best I can within reason, right? Obviously. And then just my last little thing. Hey, there's definitely we do have to start as an adult. You do have to hold people accountable. But in the middle of this crisis right now, like my hat is off, my heart and my soul goes out to everybody in California. This is an abomination, but it is what it is. And I just hope everybody is safe. And, we can, hopefully we pull our heads out our asses and figure that stuff out, because it's the same thing for people in North Carolina, Georgia, and other areas affected by Helene. It's winter time, and the people of whoever it was, the spokesperson for North Carolina just came out today and said, hey, no matter what, and maybe your house was destroyed, but don't forget, you still have to pay property tax. Just the government fucking sucks, period. I mean, like, talk about bad optics. So again, for everybody out east from Hurricane Helene, which no one wants to talk about anymore, you're still suffering. My hat is off, and my heart and my prayers go to you, and to everybody out in the West Coast who is suffering through this calamity and this, same thing. I hope everybody just stays safe. My heart, my hat is off. My heart is out to you. And I don't want to turn it into a Centerline System things, but here is, as an adult, a takeaway. You never know when a disaster or an emergency is going to strike. So be prepared. That's why I say keep thinking, keep moving, never quit.
And
John, any last comments? Otherwise, I'm taking us out on that.
And get some gear.
Well, know how to use shit. I mean, yeah, gear, but you got to know how to use stuff, and you got to know how to use this and just be prepared, right? So, all right, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.
Go ahead, John.
I just said I'm good. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Hey, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night on Cialis After Dark. Otherwise, we'll see you in a couple gear videos over the next couple days, and then we'll see you next Thursday back here for another Loadout Live. All right, Gene, spin them up. You were throwing
fastballs.
No, he was hitting home runs all night long. Everything he did. Get him ready, June. All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow night. Everybody be good. All right. Woo!